This video is going to be my film study preview of the Seahawks' visit to New England to take on the Patriots in Week 2. Both teams had impressive performances from a defensive standpoint in Week 1. I'm really interested to see how Seattle's offense improves from an efficiency standpoint, from cleanliness in terms of executing their plays. Pass pro is going to be, I think a constant issue until some of those guys get healthy on the right side. The Patriots' defense was interesting to watch against the Bengals because they were very multiple. It almost looked like a Bill Belichick defense. And when I say Bill Belichick defense, I'm hearkening. I'm old, so I'm hearkening back to with the Giants when they beat the Bills, when they beat the Rams, the first time beating the Rams in the Super Bowl for his first win in New England as a head coach. Gerard Mayo's defense was very multiple, very intelligent on the field, making adjustments against the Bengals last week. Regardless of whatever Joe Burrow's issues are, Jamar Chase and his contract situation, T. Higgins being injured and out, the Patriots showed up and played a quality of defense that I think in some ways matches what Seattle did last week. Seattle went up against a rookie quarterback. They were flying around the field, multiple guys making plays. Open field tackles was far improved from 2023, at least as I understand it. I'm a Ravens content creator who spends a lot of time watching Ravens and Lions film. This year I've tried to do some Seattle film study videos as I can, and they were incredibly fast. They looked like a more athletic version of the Ravens defense from 2023 in some ways, meaning when the ball's thrown out on the perimeter, there's just so many guys responding that even though there was space momentarily, no space existed to make a cut or a move once the ball was caught. How much of that was Bo Nix being a rookie quarterback? Who knows? I guess we'll find out. They're going in, they're going to get Jacoby Brissett as the starter. Maybe Drake May gets in the game eventually. This Seahawks defense can travel because, number one, they're fast, they're very well coached and smart, and they're aggressive, and at least right now, they're tackling extremely well in open field. And it's multiple guys doing so. That's why I'm comfortable enough to say that. Julian Love, Rayshon Jenkins, in this case, Boye Mafe, multiple guys making tackles in open field, limiting yards after the catch. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch for you as Seahawks fans. I can't wait to watch it later. I won't be able to watch it live. I'll be watching the Ravens game because I understand it's a 1 p.m. start on Sunday. This will be an old school matchup, if you ask me. I would take the under. I'm not a betting person. I don't, enjoy betting. I'm not good at it, first of all, but I don't enjoy it, second of all, either. And I would take the under here, whatever it is, because these are two defenses that will show up, barring weather, impact in any way, shape, or form. I think both of these teams can turn each other over, turn the offenses over, and tackle well and force a lot of punts. There was a ton of possessions in the first half last week from a Seahawks-Broncos perspective. I remember looking up and thinking, wow, they're on the 8th possession already. We're still only in the first half. I think the same dynamic could exist or could occur this week between these two defenses in Foxborough. What I want to highlight first from a Patriots perspective, and I've watched the film today, Saturday, exclusively pretty much throughout the day, is first of all, Christian Gonzalez obviously shadowed or followed Jamar Chase. That's a part of what they did, but they were extremely multiple. So this is going to be a sack on the first possession. It's actually a strip sack. I do think there's the opportunity for Joe Burrow to potentially throw this football. Why would you not have confidence in Jamar Chase on this curl comeback route near the top of the numbers with outside leverage corner and Gonzalez? Gonzalez did a great job. Don't get me wrong. The entire Patriots defense, did a great job. But there is an opportunity to throw this football now, and when Chase checks up at the top of the numbers, the ball will be there. This inside linebacker is responding in man-to-man coverage against the running back, so the throwing lane that to us from the All-22 doesn't look like it's open, would be open if Burrow had let go of the football. But there was a pressure component on this particular Patriot snap and throughout the day. Still first possession, so it looks like a mug look. You're talking about a 3rd and 9. So it looks like heavy pressure. Again, you got Gonzalez down here to the bottom side. I'm going to focus on Gonzalez versus Chase, but not necessarily the matchup. Hey, Gonzalez won every snap. That's not what I'm saying. I'm focusing on what the Patriots did to build off of that. And in this case, they dropped to a cover 2. Gonzalez is a corner, an outside corner to be specific. But post-snap, he's going to turn into a safety. And this becomes a cover 2 post-snap. One of the banes of the Bengals' existence since 2022, really. Early part of 2022. Multiple teams playing a cover two, Tampa 2 to be precise, against them was limiting their short passing game, their timing passes, number one. And number two, it was also holding down their throws from the bottom of the numbers to the sideline. And those are the throws that, for the large majority of the first half last week, you did not see. I'm talking about the ones from the bottom of the numbers to the sideline. T. Higgins didn't play. That's a factor. I actually really like the signing for them of Mike Gesicki. And I don't like it as a Ravens fan necessarily, but showing the mug look, heavy pressure potential, and then dropping those guys out sounds familiar. The Seahawks do the same thing. Mike McDonald's system is built on that. I could see this game being incredibly low scoring. If the Seahawks go in there and their defense is able to, their offense is able to figure things out, then all bets are off, if you ask me, in terms of score. It's a 3rd and 6. This is second possession. So an example, if you ask me, of how well the Patriots tackled in this game, I think it was very reminiscent of what Seattle did last week. From a pass pro perspective, I noticed more times than not they were helping on the right side. I believe it's Trent Brown, but this is the backside X receiver. It's Hudson, who actually is near to a touchdown here in a moment in a play that I'll show you. Stepping to the defensive end, chipping, and then running the drag underneath. Also, speaking to the multiplicity or versatility of the defense, that's Christian Gonzalez. And we'll let this run back in a moment. That's a Tampa 2. Pretty much a Tampa 2 release by him. Yes, you've got different look here by the safety from the backside. I think that's related to the X-receiver's release. Let me let it flow through a couple of times and then talk about Gonzalez a little bit. So what you've seen is you've seen him in man against Chase, the first play I showed you. Then line up at outside corner against Chase on a 3rd down mug look, and then become a 2-high safety. Now, you've got the nickel defender 25. They play a lot of dime, by the way. And then they also have a hybrid safety linebacker, number 21, a really good player, and Bentley, the inside linebacker, also like as well. Looks like it could be man with these 3 guys here. Post-snap, however, they're just getting to a Tampa 2, and Gonzalez is becoming what would be the Mike linebacker in a Tampa 2, running the pipe between the hashes as that 3rd deep defender. And in this case, Burrow doesn't have anything open. He's not identified it as a cover 2, not comfortable throwing this route here over the top of the corner, who I think has got appropriate depth on top of Chase. Goes to the check down, and you saw that a lot against the cover 2 that the Patriots deployed often. 3rd possession, another sack, a split sack, in fact. And I really love this play from a Christian Gonzalez perspective for a lot of reasons. It is a shield concept, which I talked about a lot last week. I covered the Lions and Rams game, so a ton of shield concepts, picks, rubs. And then the Ravens against the Chiefs, same boat. The Chiefs run probably more than anyone along with the Rams. But this is a shield concept. Jamar Chase out into the flats on a 3rd and 3. You can see Gonzalez is running with him. This receiver to the outside is going to go on an outside release path, and all he's doing is he's trying to force to where Gonzalez can't go over the top. And Burrow's first read is there. I'm not sure if I give you the end zone angle of this one. I do. So this is the same exact play again. It's a 3rd and 3, 3rd possession. Gonzalez going with Chase. Who's he going to match up with on the Seahawks? I'm not sure. I do wonder, and I'm not big on pictures to evaluate NFL players. I think that's unfair, but they've practiced this play probably dozens of times. I'm not sure why Burrow isn't coming back to Iosivas, I believe, over the middle on a 3rd and 3 as opposed to taking the sack. Let's go back to the All-22 for a moment. Now that you've seen Burrow look to the left where Chase is going, look at what he sees when 87 releases to the outside. Again, I think that's just to force Gonzalez to go underneath or have to go over the top, making an easy completion to Jamar Chase. When the ball is snapped and Burrow looks over there, he's not sure. Pre-snap, of course, Gonzalez went with him. It's man, fine. But Burrow, he doesn't know if that defender is going to switch onto Chase or if they're maintaining their man relationship, their man responsibility, and Gonzalez would be over the top, which, of course, if that's the case, then it will be an easy completion. I'm not sure because of 21's leverage. Gonzalez going over the top. All I know is it was enough to prevent Burrow from throwing the football, and he had to take a sack. So you've got multiple examples of how versatile they were with that matchup. So where's Gonzalez going to go against the Seahawks? DK Metcalf, fine. You've got JSN, and you got Tyler Lockett, who obviously made the most amazing play of the game from an offensive standpoint in sealing the game late. Gonzalez is down here. It's a quad set against Jamar Chase. We're now on to the fourth possession. I'm kind of going through first half, and then I'll go through the final possession of the game when the Patriots are up 16-10, and the Bengals offense at home in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left is able to accomplish nothing. So there's an element to this that is designed. It's 12 personnel. There's 2 tight ends. And so what I mean by that is it's a screen to Jamar Chase, a hitch screen, and they've got 2 tight ends out here to block, as opposed to a receiver and or a running back. The running back is all the way out wide over the outside the bottom of the number. So credit to the Bengals for scheming this up with their tight ends blocking. But Jabril Peppers is able to slip underneath of the block, tackle Jamar Chase. They were physical in space, they being the Patriots. I think this is a good matchup between the two defenses. As a Seahawks fan, you should be confident your defense is going to travel. This is going to be a fun game, I think. And if you enjoy defense, let's do it that way. I think this one comes back for a penalty. I think it's actually a penalty on the Patriots. But Burrow, 3rd and 6. This is not something that you see. He can do this. Obviously, he scramble. He's way more athletic than people give him credit for. It's an offsides down at the bottom of the screen. That was pretty obvious. And Burrow is out of there. Was it created by the offsides? I wonder about his confidence level in what they've got here at right tackle. I think that's Trent Brown, but I could be wrong. I wonder about his confidence level in what they've got there because I saw some problems in pass pro. Certainly Seahawks fans are going to be well aware of that with all the issues last week at right tackle. Still 4th possession. Gonzalez matching up with Jamar Chase again. Another example of the first read for Burrow being taken away. By the way, it's a great play by, I think it's 25 Jones, who's a nickel defender that they line up all over the place, to be honest with you. When they go dime, I would look for him to be as the nickel defender. I think it's Duggars, 23, is also a very good player. So this is Gonzalez against Chase. Chase on the snap, it's a 2nd and 5, is going to run out into the flats, just a little shoot route. Burrow's looking over there, presumably as the first read. You never know if he's taught to look him off, but the running back is crossing face of Burrow, potentially to hold this inside linebacker, and Gonzalez is gone. There is no reaction for Gonzalez in most of these plays other than, man, let me deal with Chase. And actually, not on this particular play, a couple of times after the play or after the initial route is run and Chase is doing nothing, Gonzalez makes contact with him. I kind of like it from a defensive standpoint. He didn't do it here. They appeared to be talking and enjoying the moment with the play being away from them briefly. But that level of competitiveness, I think, is going to match up well with the Seahawks. I think that's exactly how the Seahawks are going to play football this year, especially on the defensive side. So this is the 4th quarter. This is the last possession for the Bengals. I think they're down 16-10 at this point. 3 minutes precisely left in the game. 11 personnel. And what do the Patriots go to? Cover 2. Are they going to play this much cover 2 against the Seahawks? I'm not sure. I think that they, at least in this game, were using the appropriate coverage that has given the Bengals pause, hesitation, whatever you want to call it, delay in the last couple of years. A cover 2 with different versions of it, Tampa 2. It looks like a 1-high look. Jabril Peppers is the lone safety. Post-snap, you've got Gonzalez down here. I think that's Chase. Nickel defender 25, Duggars, because this is dime. And then corner to the outside, 4 underneath, and then potentially a Mike Backer to run with any vertical. Doesn't identify a vertical. It's an underneath route. Burrow has to check it down quickly to Zach Moss. I think it's technically incomplete. We'll let it flow through one more time so you guys can see the cover 2. I don't know that you're going to see this as often. The Seahawks' ability to run the ball is a completely different dynamic than the Bengals, who historically, the last 2 or 3 years, in 11 personnel, their run game has not generated consistent yardage. It's not been reliable. Let's do it that way. Occasional heavy usage of it, but predictable, meaning under center or 12 or 13 personnel. In the shotgun, 11 personnel, they're throwing the football, particularly here, 2nd and 10, 3 minutes left. I love this coverage, and as a defensive-minded person, I appreciate what I think the Patriots are getting to here. I think this ends up being a cover 3. The lone inside linebacker on the field, I think is Bentley, is going to jam Chase and then settle into the flats. So he'll jam and then he'll settle into the flats. It basically ends up being a cover 3, if you ask me, but they're getting to it from a dime look. There's the cover 3, if you ask me. There's the underneath umbrella. 4 defenders. Maybe this guy doesn't have as much depth as the other 3. I think you've got cover 3 corner, middle of the field free safety, cover 3 corner. I'm welcome to hear any other thoughts you have about the coverage, but when I see a safety sit down like Jabril Peppers just did there from a high alignment, number 1, so we're talking about Peppers sitting down on the hash, Duggars, the other safety, sitting down on the hash, right at the sticks, or actually a little bit past it. Again, it's a 3rd and 10. My apologies. I said 2nd and 10. There's your cover 3. They're very multiple and smart. This is Jamar Chase. I think Gonzalez did a great job on him. I'm not saying he shut him down. I don't get into that type of analysis, but this is a smart call on a 3rd and 10. And so it seems simple. You have a dime look on the field. Jamar Chase happens to be the backside X. Let's go ahead and jam him a little bit. Impede his release enough such that if Burrow wants to look back there, which he did not here, that route's going to be impeded and he's going to have to go somewhere else. As it stands, there's nothing available for him at all. This is a smart football team. I think they're going to play a lot of zone, in my opinion, but Christian Gonzalez gives them the option, gives them the opportunity to play a little bit more man than maybe they did last week. He's a potential star at corner, in my opinion, just from his draft process, seeing him go through that, seeing some of the film of him from Oregon. Didn't necessarily have that type of output last year, I think because of injury. Looked great in week 1 against Jamar Chase. Credit to the Patriots. They went on the road and really shut down that Bengals offense. The Bengals didn't score a point in the first half, I don't think. Punt, and then turnover on downs. Actually turned the ball over their 3rd drive on the 1. I think it's a forced fumble by Duggars that I wanted to show in this film study video. So I'll fire that back up. This is a missed touchdown opportunity. It's a great catch by Mike Gesicki. To me, if you could get somebody with size on 25 in the pass game, whether that's DK, whether that's a tight end, in this case Gesicki, I think Gesicki is probably a little more athletic from a verticality standpoint than the Seahawks tight ends, but you've got big receivers who can get out there and do this as well. If you could find a way to get a size advantage on 25, who's a really good football player, but to me looks a little smaller in pass defense. Now, that one was overturned, to be honest with you. I still thought it was a great pass. I still thought it was an example of how you might be able to attack them, number 1. Number 2, got to be able to pass pro at the right tackle position better than the Seahawks did last week, and obviously better than you get done here. We're kind of going back in time here. This is first possession. A couple of pass rush issues or problems. I think this is the play that I diagrammed earlier where I felt like he could throw the ball to Jamar Chase on the curl by the top of the numbers at 10, 11 yards, something like that. Pump fakes it, holds it. Maybe there's somebody in the window. Maybe he sees a different color jersey flash in terms of a D lineman. Same play that I diagrammed where Christian Gonzalez follows him across the field. And the trust or lack thereof in his offensive line kind of shows up for Burrow. How much of that is the Bengals' offensive line and how much of that is how well the Patriots played, how well they designed some of this stuff, because they got to him. Could they do the same thing to Geno Smith? Well, if the offensive line doesn't play better from a pass pro standpoint than they did last week against the Broncos, then you potentially have some issues. That is absolutely true. I don't know the health of the guys on the offensive line. It's a difficult time enough for me to keep up with one team, let alone 2 or perhaps 3. I wanted to show some plays from the Patriots win over the Bengals because, number 1, you guys as Seahawks fans supported my channel so much with the videos that I did. I wanted to try to produce something for you on Friday night. Unable to get it done. This is certainly late to the game Saturday night, but you guys are on the West Coast, and you have to let me know if this works for you. Something being released later than normal in terms of what most content creators are comfortable with. I love watching football and watching the Seahawks defense. Watching Mike McDonald's defense with the Ravens was a heck of a lot of fun. Just as much fun last week to see them flying around the field. Do I think the Seahawks defense is more athletic and better than the Patriots defense? I do suspect that, but it's a small sample size. We've only seen one game, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Do I think that the matchups of the Seahawks offense against the Patriots defense is more so in favor of the Seahawks as opposed to the Seahawks defense against the Patriots offense? Absolutely, I do. I think that there's a possibility to go in there and play turnover-free football. The defense flies around, and you're able to generate. I think it takes 3 organic scoring drives. So what I'm saying is 3 organic scoring drives, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and then some other non-organic scoring drives. So your defense forces a turnover on their 30, and you're able to convert that into a field goal. Or you get a defensive touchdown. I think 3 organic scoring drives, 17 points, gets the job done if the defense plays as well as they did last week. Who knows if Bo Nix and the Broncos offense is equivalent to the Patriots offense. I didn't think that they looked spectacular on offense last week. They were able to run the ball. In fact, I think they ran and threw for almost the same amount of yards in week 1 against the Bengals. That's not going to happen against the Seahawks defense. I don't see them being able to bully you guys up front at all. You guys have to let me know if you enjoy these types of previews, and if so, then I'll try to get them out earlier in the ensuing weeks. I really love watching football and would appreciate any feedback on the types of preview that I've given you here from another fan base, especially one that's supported me the way you guys have in the last 2 to 3 weeks when I've put out Seahawks-related content. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Seattle fans would enjoy this film study preview of their trip to Foxborough to take on the Patriots, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.